This is the Calm Podcast.
We put out a survey and asked what you want from a music podcast, and we listened and delivered.
The result is these 4 episodes where we will invite in one music-related guest each that we know and admire and talk about what you want to hear.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi guys, my name is Maria, and today in our podcast I have Dub Concept with me.
Hello.
Who I will be referring to as Ryan, because that's his real name. Is that okay?
That's absolutely fine.
Perfect. So, could you introduce yourself to your listeners? What do you do? What's your music about?
So I'm a drum and bass DJ producer, making and playing mostly liquid drum and bass, so quite musical, rolling, not too heavy, quite jazzy kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Where do you get your inspiration from? Like your thoughts, your feelings? Where do you get it from?
Anywhere, to be honest. Probably primarily other drum and bass music. Old jazz records, old soul records. Get a lot of inspiration from kind of samples. And then just obviously general emotions and feelings and whatever's going on in my life.
Oh, that's cool. What your favorite record? Because you said you get lots of inspiration from like jazz records and stuff. What's your favorite one? Do you have a favorite one?
Favorite jazz record? Probably Art Blakey, Moaning. I think it came out in '59, but it's yeah, it is old, but it's an oldie but a goodie. It's in my mind a perfect piece of music, and that's not very common. So
what is perfect piece of music for you then?
Something that I feel you can listen to from start to finish, and only when it finishes you realise you've been listening to it that whole time, and it's kind of taken you completely off in a zone. When the music stops and you realise that to me is perfect music. That's taken you somewhere.
Okay.
I try and recreate that in my music. So when I build a set, I'm not trying to impress people every 2 minutes. I'm not trying to get a reaction every 2 minutes. I'm trying to take people on a journey. And if they kind of wake up on a dance floor half an hour into my set, realise where they are, I've done a good job.
How did you get started?
Very young. So I think I always wanted to be a singer when I was a little kid, or a musician.
You just told me like 30 minutes ago that you can't sing.
I can't sing. No,
but you still wanted to
quickly
be a singer.
gave that up.
Okay.
But yeah, I was always into dance music as a youngster, and when I was about 10 years old, I used to DJ with my dad at a Royal British Legion social club on a Saturday night, playing old country records and whatnot.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I soon fell in love with garage music at the time, and that's kind of what got me into properly DJing. And I literally learnt to mix from reading DJ Mag back then, which for some reason my Royal British Legion social club had in the magazine rack. Not sure who was reading that, but and kind of just flicking through the like DJ store pages, looking at all the buttons and knobs on the equipment and working out what they did, then listening to DJs at the time. So mostly DJ EZ, he was a huge inspiration to me when I was starting out, listening to what he was doing and working out what he was doing from looking at pictures of equipment, essentially. Wow. And that's how I got into it. And then my local record shop, when I was younger, when I was about 12, 13, I used to go in there to buy garage records. It was run by Mickey Finn, who's a huge drum and bass DJ. I would always be in there and just hearing drum and bass music, and that kind of got me into drum and bass and kind of made the transition as I got older.
That's really cool. It's really cool background story. You talked about like getting to know the what do you call it? DJ with the buttons and
Equipment,
stuff.
yeah.
Equipment, yes. Did you get your own one when you were younger, or?
I started off. I nagged my parents one Christmas to buy me a mixer. Didn't actually have any decks to to mix with. I just had one CD player, but I was obsessed with the EQ. I was obsessed with being able to turn the bass down and turn the treble down, take the mids out and things like this, and just kind of chop the music, just playing around with it, kind of manipulating it. And about a year or two later, I finally got a pair of decks, and then learnt to beat match from there. So I knew how to use the equipment before I got it. And then it spent years kind of perfecting beat matching and mixing techniques.
That is cool. Do you have like any memories with your first or one of the first like concerts, or not concert, DJ?
I played my first ever set when I was 13 at a place called Red Lion in Gravesend.
Okay.
It was a dark, naughty club. I remember being there 13 years old. I'd never been to anything like that before, and there were about 5 or 6 MCs crowded around the mic. The place was absolutely packed out, and I was stood in this DJ booth with grown men stood around me doing all kinds of drugs that I just didn't understand what was going on. I was just like, forget what's going on, just mix, don't look back.
That is so
But
cool.
yeah, I was absolutely buzzing from that. To that point, that was the best experience of my life, just playing tunes and seeing a crowd go crazy when you're dropping sort of like tunes that are going to go off. That was amazing for me. That was my first experience in a club.
Yeah, 13 years old.
Yeah.
How did you get in? Like, do you remember how did you
I
get
don't
there?
know. I had friends that got me the set.
Okay.
I kind of started doing house parties and just kind of got to know people from that, and then got involved in this one club night. It was quite like I say, it was rough. It was Friday nights. There was drum and bass downstairs, and upstairs was always grunge bands. And it was about a week or two after I played that the Friday nights they cut off drum and bass because 2 massive gangs in my area had a massive fight. And
wow.
that was the end of drum and bass in my hometown for a while.
Really? Oh.
Luckily I missed that, but yeah.
You do a lot of club nights at the moment as well. It just was in Switch.
Yeah, Switch. Saturday just gone. I'm playing London this Friday. Doing a live stream. Live streams seem to be the in thing at the moment. Seem to be doing a lot of them. So I'm doing one up in Coventry next week, and then from the beginning of next month, I'm starting a monthly residency on the Goat Shed, which anyone who doesn't know about Goat Shed, definitely check it out. There's a lot of talent on there, a lot of up-and-coming DJs. It's a really good platform. It's, if you don't know about it, it's similar to kind of Boiler Room. So essentially you're DJing in front of a camera, which is weird because it's a small little studio. You're generally on your own with a camera in your face, but it's good fun.
Okay.
A couple of beers in there, a couple of mates, a couple of vibes, and it's all good.
That's interesting.
So-
And with the live streams as well, what do you mean by live streams? It's just like you record yourself?
So no, it's all broadcast live, usually on Facebook.
Okay.
I think the Goat Shed are branching out. They're going to start doing, I'm not sure how, but just streaming over the internet, so you won't need Facebook to watch it.
Okay.
But then obviously with Facebook video, you can watch it back after
yeah.
it's finished recording.
That is cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you are you working on a music right now as well? New music? Is anything coming out?
Yeah, so no forthcoming releases at the moment, but there's plenty of stuff going on. I'm kind of in the process of getting another EP together. A few months ago, I had an EP out on Soul Deep Recordings, record label from LA. So it's kind of looking to follow that up. I've been doing a couple of remixes of my own records. Got a few bits going, a couple of collaborations with vocalists, MCs, other producers. So yeah, just kind of getting some more stuff together at the moment.
That's cool. You said it with your collaborations that you're gonna have vocalists and people to just find them, or does your record label find them for you?
No,
How does that work?
I'm currently working on something with who I met in Southampton actually, but he now randomly lives in Gravesend, where I'm from. So yeah, we've been meaning to do something together for a while, so I'm excited about that. And a vocalist called who I met in Northampton at my record label's rave, as it goes. But yeah, I'm going to get in a studio with her next week, spend a couple of days and just kind of see what comes out. But
That's cool.
yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah. What's your, talking about collaborations, what's your like the biggest dream? Who would be the artist that you would want to collaborate?
Wow. I think it'd depend on producers or vocalists. If I could work with any producer in the world, it would be Todd Edwards. He's an old kind of house garage producer.
Mm-hmm.
He's got such a distinctive style. No one else has ever been able to recreate it. You can tell a Todd Edwards track a mile off when he collaborates with other producers. So he was on the Daft Punk Random Access Memories album.
Okay.
I know he's produced with them before as well. But as soon as a Todd Edwards track comes on, doesn't matter who else is involved in the track, you know it's him. He's got this signature sound of cut up vocals that, like I say, no one else in the world has ever been able to recreate, and many people, including myself, have tried.
Really? Try some more, maybe one day.
It's never going to happen.
You sure?
Yeah,
Don't
I don't know
give
how he
up.
does it. I've given up.
Never give up. Also, yeah, about your EP, Ambra, it came out a few months ago.
Yeah,
September, October.
end of last year. Can't remember when now.
Okay, yeah. What was the inspiration behind the EP and stuff? Because you have really good tracks on there.
Yeah, Sun and Bass. So Ambra is, I don't know if it's an area in Santiadoro where Sun and Bass Festival in Sardinia is, but the main club is called Ambra Night. There's a bar called Ambra Day, and there's a road called Via Cala di Ambra, which anyone who's been to Sun and Bass knows about. They'll probably call it Ambra Hill. It's a huge walk from the town centre up a massive hill and back down again. And when you get to the top of the hill, you're greeted with this view that's just absolutely incredible. It's just a long road. At the end of it, there's a sea, there's a beach, and the club is literally on the beach. And it's a journey. You meet so many people on this hill. So that was kind of the main inspiration. So one of the tracks, probably the most popular track on the EP, Drops of Amber, is literally Cala di Ambra translated into English. So that was the first track I wrote for that EP. But yeah, the inspiration basically comes from Sun and Bass. It's a drum and bass paradise.
Are you going this year as well?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm never missing it again. Also, the artwork for the EP is a friend of mine actually took the picture. But the mountain that you can see in the background, anyone who's been to Sun and Bass will recognise the mountain. But the good thing about the picture is it's from way up in, I think, some other mountains, and no one, I don't think, would have actually seen it from that angle before. So whilst everyone will recognise the setting, they won't know where it's taken from. So yeah, cool. It's a cool little picture. As soon as I saw, he actually uploaded it on I think it was Instagram. Straight away I was like, mate, I need that picture for my artwork.
Yeah, that's a nice picture though, because you've got them beautiful sky there and the mountain and
like I said, the whole place is paradise. You could take a picture from anywhere and it would just be instant artwork material.
Yeah. When you went to Sun and Bass last year or this year now, September? Is it in
September, yeah.
Yeah. You posted like so many things on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that is paradise, really.
Yeah, I would live there if I could, but the rest of the year round, there's not a lot happening. So.
Well, you can just live around like somewhere near there, be like in Sardinia and then somewhere
Crazy thing
else in Italy.
about Sardinia is, apart from the capital city, I don't think anyone actually lives there. I think there's about 1,000 people live in that town.
You could be the 1,001.
Yeah, probably could be. I don't speak Italian now. I don't know how much English the rest of them would speak, so I'll probably struggle.
Yeah.
But
They're more like solo italiano, solo italiano.
probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you could go there for a little while, just be like, go travel.
I think it's a special occasion. Maybe it wouldn't be the same without the raves going on. I don't know.
What's the best rave you've been to?
Apart from Sun and Bass?
Yeah, apart from that.
Blimey. The best club nights I've ever been to in my life were the Wax Nights in Southampton. They happened about 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone who used to go to those nights will tell you they were something special. The club was absolutely amazing. As soon as you walked in, the bar staff, the management, even the bouncers, everyone was so welcoming. Everyone was so glad to be there. It was just absolutely vibes. Like anywhere you went, the bar staff were dancing around. They were, it was never, you go to a lot of clubs, you go to the bar staff, they don't want to be there. They just want to serve you a drink, go home.
Mm-hmm.
They were dancing around the bar. The bouncers were like just chatting to everyone. The management, Carla Nuno, you could, if there was me, maybe another DJ or another MC stood anywhere near the bar, they'd be like, right, Jaeger train, and they'll just line up 30 Jaeger bombs across the bar, and anyone who was anywhere near the bar would just get a free Jaeger bomb just because it was that kind of vibe. And it was a really simple night. It was quite cheap entry, cheap drinks, and there was always one headliner, and it would always be a good headliner. It would be someone like Andy C or Marky. Big drum and bass names.
Mm-hmm.
And just every week the place was rammed out. You've never seen an atmosphere like it. It was low ceilings, so it was intimate. You could literally have 20 people there and it'd feel like a full club. I've never seen energy like that in a rave. And as a DJ, the booth was only separated from the crowd by a very small kind of, I don't know, like a window type thing that came up to about shoulder height. So anyone who was in the crowd at front row
Mm-hmm.
could basically touch you, and it was that intimacy that created the atmosphere.
Did anyone like come near you and touch you or something like that? Because it was like you were really close to the people.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
it's
quite funny.
In a normal kind of front row raving kind of way, yeah. You'd feel the appreciation from the crowd. If you were doing something right, you knew about it, because you could see it in front of you. But it was there was never any trouble in there. There was never anyone. There's no one dodgy. There was no one you looked at and thought, oh, for God's sake, like, wish they'd just leave. Every week the people were sick. The club was sick. Everything about it was just amazing. It was a good social feel as well.
And it was called Wax?
Wax, yeah. I still represent the T-shirts now. And everywhere I go with a Wax T-shirt, people still say, oh, Wax, man, I miss it so much.
What happened to it?
The club closed.
Oh.
It moved to Junk for a while, but it wasn't quite the same. Junk's didn't have the same atmosphere. Junk's it's a bigger club. And it was just never the same format that it was at Rhino, or when it was called Audio. But yeah, I miss those days, man. Bad.
Is anything like, so when you're doing your set, have you ever been like booed or been like, oh mate, don't play that's awful, or something like that? Funniest thing that's happened to you, like
funniest thing that's happened to
really annoyed you?
I've been in clubs before playing, usually when I'm playing a garage set somewhere, and you'll get drunk girls coming up to the booth like, can you play Beyonce, or can you play Jason Derulo? To which they don't get a particularly polite response. If you're playing a garage set, I'm not going to start playing.
You can do some remixes of like Beyonce music or something. Drum and bass.
But I don't know, a lot of it wouldn't fit into what I do. Like I say, I'm not trying to please crowds when I play. I'm trying to kind of take people on a journey, and all of a sudden playing something like that is going to break up the kind of feel of what I'm doing. It's going to break up the vibe. So I try and keep it as deep and rolling as possible.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're in this for music only.
Yeah, I've never tried to kind of follow trends. A lot of producers and DJs around me have kind of, as the music's progressed and as it's, you know, different subgenres have developed, they've kind of moved with it, and I've just never wanted to do that. I've never wanted to be making the in sound at the time, because I kind of think everyone else is doing that. I want to make what I want to make. I don't want I don't expect to ever make a load of money out of music, because I kind of just want to. I don't want the pressure of having to please. I don't want the pressure of having to have a certain sound or having to make a track that's this loud and it's got this kind of vibe about it. I just want to make the music that I'm feeling, because I'd hate to play a set and be playing tunes that I wasn't really feeling.
Okay.
That would, I think, change me as a DJ, because anyone who's seen me DJing will see I jump around quite a lot. I'm very involved when I'm mixing, so
I've never seen you DJ.
I'm a lunatic behind the decks. A lot of DJs are kind of like stood there and just, I don't know, just mixing, that's kind of it, whereas I feed off the crowd and I feed off the tunes that I'm playing. So if I'm not feeling something, I'm going to be stood there looking miserable, which isn't why I do it. I don't see the point in DJing if you're not enjoying it. I do it for the enjoyment. So
Okay, that's nice. That's really nice. It's like pure-hearted and all that kind of stuff. Aww.
yeah.
Also, when you do your tracks, how do you create one like track? How long does it take you? Because I've always been interested in that. How do you create a track?
It's always different. I guess it depends. For years, I got stuck in the rut of trying to make perfect drums and then trying to write a track over it. But the last few years, I've got more into, I'll kind of hear a sample, whether it's in a track or whether it's just, I don't know, random little, it could be literally a 2-second saxophone sample, and it will trigger me and I'll be like, right, okay, I'm going to make something with that. And I envisage where I want to take it. And I'll kind of say it's a saxophone sample, for example. I'll take that, write some chords around it, add some extra kind of musical elements, and then write a bass line to that, and then kind of make a whole track out of it. It can take anything from 2 or 3 days to, there's a lot of stuff, to be honest, I'll start and come back to months later and finish, which is usually what happens. But yeah, it can start from anywhere. It could even start from something I've learned or a synth that I'm playing around with and come up with a nice sound on it and think, right, I want to make this into something. And so yeah, it's usually just a random musical idea. Could be off an old record. So the first track I had signed to Soul Deep Recordings, I was record shopping in London, and my girlfriend at the time, she'd always gone on about this old 80s pop record, and I came across it in a random record fair, and just for the novelty I thought, this is funny, I'm going to pull this out and buy it. It was like 50p or something, and for some reason bought it just for fun and took it home. And on the B-side, I was just kind of flicking through and seeing what was on there, and there was another track, just literally a random B-side track, that there was just this 2-second little guitar sample, and I played it slower, 33 RPM instead of 45 RPM as it's supposed to be played, and straight away I was like, this has got a groove, I love the little riff, and kind of played it completely offbeat, but on my mixer I just kind of looped it and played some like drum and bass drums over it, and I was like, this is the start of a track, and then had an idea for a bass line to go with it, and kind of took it from there. And that was the first tune I got signed to Soul Deep, like I say, so it can literally come from anywhere.
That's really cool. Do you is there like in any track you're like the most proud of, or like, oh, this is my baby, or all the tracks are your babies, or anything you're not
probably Drops of Amber, because like I say, it's probably been the most popular track. A lot of people that I respect, DJs that I absolutely love and admire, have picked it up, and I still get good feedback about it now. People are the way I hear some people talking about that track, telling me kind of the vibe that it catches and what it kind of reminds them of, and it's quite special. Like Big Bud, he's one of my favourite producers of all time. He absolutely loves that track, and I had a whole conversation with him. He was saying it sounds like 90s, what LTJ Bookham would used to play, but brought up to date. And I was like, that's exactly what I was going for. So, yeah, I think I hit the nail on the head with that track. That I'm probably most proud of so far.
So far, there's always the new babies as well.
Yeah, there's more coming.
There's always more coming. The song that we're gonna play is called, can you introduce that?
Yeah, so it's actually a VIP of a track me and Photon made about 3 or 4 years ago now. It's called Withdrawal. The original was released on a French label called I Am Limited, and it's kind of different to stuff I play now as a DJ. So, but I still love the track, and it's another track that a lot of people have kind of picked up. I've heard other DJs playing it, and I kind of wanted to bring it kind of into the style that I'm playing now. So that's what inspired the VIP, which it's fresh out the studio. I made it on Saturday. I literally made it to play at Switch Saturday night. So I think I'm gonna fine tune it. I don't know whether it will ever get released or what I'll do with it, but I may just keep it as a dub plate for myself. Maybe 1 or 2 other DJs. But yeah, the original, it was pretty cool actually. The first year I went to Sun and Bass, I heard it played in the main room on the closing night. That was a special moment for me. So yeah, I've brought it up to date, and hopefully people will like it as much as they like the original.
What was when you played it in a club? You said you made it to the for the Saturday. Yeah. What was the reaction? Do you remember the reaction? What people had when they heard that song?
I was pretty wavy at the time, I've got to admit. But yeah, I think I remember it getting a good reaction. It may just have been me. I don't know. But no, it sounded good from what I can remember. It sounded powerful, sounded loud. So yeah, hopefully when it's fine tuned, it will get a good reaction.
Okay, let's listen to it. talk about your record label, Soul Deep Recordings.
Yeah.
How did they find you? Did you find them?
I originally sent some music to them a while ago now, a few years ago. And there was one track I've made and they liked it, but wanted me to change a few things that I didn't want to change. I kind of thought that was what the track was about to me. So, I started sending some more music to them a year or two ago. They started picking a couple of my tracks up. So kind of went from there, and I absolutely loved the record label. Probably about a third, maybe a quarter of the tracks that I play as a DJ are on Soul Deep Recordings. So it's my exact kind of sound. So it made sense for me to release music on Soul Deep.
Okay.
So proud to do so.
Do you, as a DJ, do you think it's better for you to be signed for an indie label or a major one? Like, what gives
Indie.
you?
Again, this goes back to what I was saying about being able to play what I want to play. By making the stuff that I want to make and playing the stuff that I want to play. No one expects me to do anything different.
Yeah.
So if I go and play a set, there aren't sort of 4 or 5 tracks that people are expecting me to play that, cause everyone else is playing them. I can do whatever I want. So I like that. I like to be able to kind of, I suppose, manipulate a crowd. So take them where I want to take them, take the music where I want to take it, and just have the freedom to kind of go with the vibe that I'm feeling.
Oh, so you just want to share all your feelings
Basically,
with the people.
yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, sometimes there'll be tracks that don't necessarily fit with exactly the kind of vibe I try to create, but I'll still play them. I'll try and play them in a way that it flows, but just because I'm feeling it so much that I just kind of want to play it. I want that reaction from myself, from the crowd. I want to feel that tune.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes I'll do that, but yeah, I like the freedom.
It's so nice to see your face when you talk about your music and like everything. It's like so exciting, like the passion in your face, absolutely amazing. What would you do? Like, can you imagine your life without making any music, or
I'd be bored.
Bored?
Yeah.
Play football maybe? Watch football?
Well, I can't play football because of my knee.
Dodgy knee.
I'd be playing darts and watching football mostly, I guess. That would be what my life would consist of, and having a couple of drinks. But yeah, I can't. I've just always been massively into music since I was a little kid. I think it comes from going to like pontins and butlins when I was a little kid, like holiday camps, and hearing like Agadoo being played and silly old party songs like that, and I was like, oh my god, it's amazing, I love music. And yeah, so I've always been just massively into music. So I can't imagine my life without it, to be honest.
You said at the beginning when we started, when you talked about your how did you get started and everything, that you played something with your dad. You played sets with your dad.
Yeah, no, my dad was basically he was the chairman of the Royal British Legion Club at the time.
Okay.
So to cut costs, they had a pair of decks that he would just whack out and chuck a load of old records on, basically.
Okay.
I guess it saved paying for a DJ. But because of that, and obviously my dad wanted to go to the bar every 10 minutes, so I was in charge of changing the tunes over it each time. So that was my introduction to using records and record decks and things, and yeah, so it kind of went from there.
That's really cool. So when you do your set in a club, you have a club night, how do you usually get ready for the night? Like, what do you do for it?
Probably start off at Brewdog, have a few beers.
I was thinking, how do you put your music together? What kind of vibe would you like?
That's not important.
Sorry, language barrier.
I will have an idea of some of the tracks that I want to play. I'll have very carefully constructed playlists ready. They're not very rigid. They're basically, I'll just go through my entire library of music and select probably around 100 or so tracks that I think this would work tonight, or if I go off in this direction, I'd have them ready. Maybe have a couple of playlists ready of if I go a little bit harder. If I'm playing last, usually I'll probably pull out a couple of old classics and go a little bit more tear out, a bit more bassline orientated. So I'll have an idea, but sometimes it will deviate into something completely different, and I'll just kind of go with the flow. So I don't have anything. I know a lot of DJs will have almost a whole set planned, or kind of start off with 10 tracks that they know they're going to play in which order. I don't really do that. I'll usually have an idea roughly of what 1 or 2 tracks I'm going to start with, but it all depends on whatever the DJ before me has done. If they end quite hard, then I'll probably think, okay, big intro, big drop on the first track, and kind of roll it out, I guess. Because obviously if someone's just absolutely torn it up before you, and you come on, in your head you're like, right, I'm going to start off mellow, crowd's going to go to the bar, you're going to lose them. So yeah, I'll usually try and play from the last DJ. So yeah, it could literally go in any direction.
Okay. And then how do you mentally get ready with Brewdog?
Yeah, Brewdog. That's where Brewdog comes in. Yeah, a couple of Elvis juices, that usually does the trick. I just think it's good to be on the same level as the crowd. Probably not chewing my face off, but a few drinks, getting a vibe, that usually helps.
That's cool.
Like I say, I tend to be pretty vibey behind the decks. You'll see me jumping around, you'll see me absolutely skanking out to each track. But
ever spilled anything on your desk?
Oh yeah, definitely.
While you're jumping, and then beer just goes everywhere.
Yeah, it happens.
Should we talk about something sad as well? What did you
Absolutely, yeah.
Why not? Let's talk about something sad. I don't know how to do transitions. Sorry, Ash and Connor. We're editing this.
Why do you think you drink so much? Why do you go to Brewdog before a set?
Why do you drink so much?
This is going to end up in crying, isn't it?
Oh, okay, no, let's not talk about anything then. It's all good. Sad stuff. Why do you drink so much?
Did you have sad stuff planned?
Did we get sad?
No, I didn't.
It was about to.
Was
you
about
came in
to
at the right time. You saved us all.
Talking about drinking and stuff.
You were going to come in. We're all going to be sat in the corner crying.
Crying. Like, no.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I absolutely just love Brewdog. I'm a shareholder because I love it. My dad was like, Christmas, yeah, I'll buy you some shares. You seem to love that beer. Yeah.
You've got like discount now as well, don't you?
Yeah, bloody amazing.
How much is the discount?
10%.
10%.
Adds up.
Okay. Adds up, okay. Get some more
Man,
and
I
then
drink.
we'll continue. So, Ryan, where do you see yourself in like 10 years? Your music or yourself as well?
I honestly don't know. My aim is just to be able to just play at different nights around the world. If I can get my music out there, like I say, I'm never gonna follow trends. So
Never gonna sell out.
No, I don't. Not even as far as selling out, but I don't. Like I say, I don't follow whatever's going on in like the drum and bass scene or whatever. I could even be doing something different to drum and bass in 10 years' time. So much could change in that time. But I can't imagine it would be too far away from what I'm doing now. I'm sure the sound will develop and it will change, obviously, to a certain extent. But yeah, just to be able to play around the world, get my music out there, kind of make a name for myself. I don't care about selling out massive clubs. It would mean more to me to be respected by other DJs and producers in the industry. There's some of my favourite DJs are DJs that could play somewhere like Switch and you could speak to 90% of the crowd and I go, I don't know, I'm just there because it's cheap drinks or something. So, but then you speak to all the DJs and producers and they're like, oh my God, he's an absolute hero. That's kind of my aim. not necessarily a hero, but respected.
One of those DJs that you want to earn the respect or something. They might be listening, you never know.
Yeah, essentially. And kind of there's a lot of, in dance music you see it a lot. You see a lot of DJs and producers that will do different things time to time. So think of examples like Artwork. He's probably a good example that, I mean, he's made a big name for himself now, but I know Artwork from kind of 15 years ago when he was making garage records under different aliases, and he's been through everything. He's been through the dubstep scene. He's had odd hits in the charts that people who absolutely love those songs probably still wouldn't know who he was. So, like I say, just kind of to be respected in the industry is my aim, essentially.
Have you always been Dub Concept? Where did the name come from?
It actually came from my first assignment at university.
Okay.
I did a digital music course. I think it was the first assignment. We had to make I think it was a concept EP.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I was massively into the kind of dub reggae sound. So that was my concept. And the name kind of came from there. I kind of was like, right, Dub Concept. I was like, ooh, sounds like a good artist name. So yeah, that's how that came around.
Okay, that's interesting. What uni did you go to?
Southampton, Solent.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. Me too.
That's got a popular reaction.
Because where we are right now. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Dub Concept, for
No problem
joining
at all.
me today.
Thank you very
Talk
much for
about
having
your
me.
music. Is there anything you wanna tell the listeners? Where can they find your music?
So, like I say, I've got a residency starting on the Goat Shed next month. That's starting from Wednesday the 9th, I believe. So it'll be, I think, the first Wednesday of every month. So that'll be an hour and a half of me basically playing tunes and getting drunk in the studio. We've got another rhythm night coming up soon. Orange Rooms, I believe that's in June. Not sure the date yet. But yeah, that's where it's happening at the moment.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you very much.